the other thing in the quote-unquote tag division.
Yeah, I mean, this had like a month and a half of build, so...
The long-term build to the in-ring debut of Jeff Hammond.
Yeah, so last month we saw Kazarian bullying Jeff Hammond as he was training with the 3 Live crew, which is a bullyable offense, to be fair.
Yeah.
And now we're getting the lead up to the actual match. The highlight of this entire build is Jeff Hammond being dad jacked.
Yeah, he's the classic, 40-year-old muscle dad, isn't he?
Yeah, it's great, good shit. He pops the top off in some angle, and then he also wrestles David Young.
He has 2 matches. Matches might be a generous word.
It's not even the in-ring debut.
That's true. So
He wrestles and beats David Young.
So January 21, there's a backstage interview where franchise had Trill K. They talk about how Jeff Hammond is a thrill seeker, asks Kazarian to underestimate Hammond at their peril. And then later in the show, Mike Today does announce that BG James and Jeff Hammond will face Frankie Kazarian and Michael Shane at the pay-per-view.
3 Live Pit Crew.
It's a good name when they say 3 Live Pit Crew. That's like, that's like, oh, good wordplay. Well done. You did it there. Main event of the next episode was Michael Shane, Frankie Kazarian, and Ela Skipper against the 3 Live crew. Mike Tenay, on commentary, explains that while Jeff Hammond may have never wrestled people, he has wrestled steers. So in his fighting with cows and bovines, that may have taught him something about fighting humans.
I mean, if I could beat up a cow...
You could beat up Frankie
I could
Kazarian?
probably beat up a human. Yeah, for sure.
It's like, if I could take out a cow, I can take out Michael Shane.
Yeah. To be fair, Michael Shane, Texas boy, maybe he's also grappled with some steers.
Yeah. It's so funny that he made that as an argument. The transferable skills of fighting bovines.
If I were Booker, I would have done a classic TNA comedy segment where Kazarian go to a bar that has a mechanical bull and have Kaz and Michael Shane try and beat up the mechanical bull.
PG hit the pump handle, but the referee was distracted by Conan and Skipper in the ring. Shane hit an elbow drop out of nowhere, allowing Kaz to pin BG. And this is where Hammond came out and tried to explain everything to the referee, and then he pulled his shirt off and demanded a fight.
Let's fucking go. I'm hooting and hollering.
I like the way NASCAR has solely been redeemed in your head through Jeff Hammond as opposed to Hermie Sadler.
Hermie Sadler sucks a sav. He can go away forever. Jeff Hammond, he's my man.
February 4th, Impact. Kazarian were mocking David Young for being a loser, and then they were like, hey, you should wrestle Jeff Hammond. That's the thing you should do. That's how you can get a win. And David Young was like, oh. And then Frankie told us that NASCAR stood for non-athletic sports centered around rednecks.
Is he wrong?
He's quite rude. How would Sean Sedor feel about this?
Positive, I think. See, I'm on Team Kazarian and he's on the Jeff Hammond team.
You're the David Young, he's the Jeff Hammond.
Listen, I don't know. I'm the Tracy.
Damn. Actually, Tracy's not with them this month, so maybe they did actually separate them.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, having Tracy in that segment would have made it better too. Like, in my fictional, they go wrestle the bull segment.
She's like so impressed with the bullfighting.
Yeah, I want to talk about how AEW is doing TNA comedy but not committing hard enough.
I need to iterate on the idea slightly first, where someone tries to hit on Tracy and then Michael Shane super kicks them and they start a bar fight.
No, that would be what they do if they were baby faces. Tracy gets hit on and then like starts like reciprocating the hitting on while they're wrestling the bull in the background because they're so hyper focused on fighting the bull.
Good.
AEW, you're delving into TNA comedy, but you're not committing hard enough. How dare you do a funeral for a wrestling tag team and not do it in an actual church?
That's just bad pro wrestling.
It's bad pro wrestling because you would have had the Ass Boys leading it. You could have had the Firm there and Stokely playing the role of Team Canada. You could have chucked all these other people in the thing, and it would have been a perfect homage. But no, you cheaped out and you did it in the ring, and that's despicable. More on-location TNA comedy promos from AEW. They can afford it. You can do weird shit. Go do it.
That is the downside. Like AEW, I think it's kind of like a consequence of them maybe not having the shows written until like Tuesday, Wednesday. But they don't do a lot of that stuff, like on-location stuff, do they?
No, it's something that needs to be brought back to wrestling.
They need more long-term planning.
Yeah, 100%.
So you can get these vignettes on your television show. But of course, AEW, they'd be 40 seconds long. That might be the problem.
Yeah, you got to give them like a solid 3 minutes to breathe. Has AEW ever had a segment as good as Eric Young going to buy condoms with Jeremy Borash and and James Storm being there and making fun of him? No. It's the answer.
Have they ever had a segment as good as Mick Foley being sent to meet with the Hulk, but meeting with Lou Ferrigno?
No.
Never.
Like, seriously, why can't we, like, they're so, like, tantalizingly on the edge of getting it, but they're not quite there.
It's because TNA is the only consistently funny wrestling company. It's the true fact of the universe.
But, like, you can do it and make it charming. They fly everyone out the day before.
You can shoot many things.
You can shoot BTE bits, but you don't have time to go out there and film some fun stuff. I don't know. This is what I would be pushing in my pro wrestling company.
So Trio K walked up, accepted the challenge on Hammond's behalf, leading to February 11th, where Jeff Hammond made his in-ring debut against People, against David Young.
I thought you were implying you were just skipping to the pay-per-view match and you're implying that David Young isn't a People.
Listen, that is a question to be answered.
It's fun.
I was disappointed. I thought Hammond, who came out in an all denim fit, which I thought you would appreciate.
Yes.
I thought he was going to wrestle in all denim, but he did take the jacket off.
It's ridiculous.
Trio K hit their catchphrases. Hammond's signature phrase appears to be the pit stop, which is also his finish.
Great.
And Tree Life Pit Crew, great name. Well done. David Young hit a suplex, but BG hit the pump handle slam, and Hammond followed with the pit stop elbow, which is, think about a people's elbow, except he grabs like the side of an imaginary steering wheel, runs around the ring a little bit, and does an elbow drop. 10 out of 10. Jeff Hammond is tremendous.
It gets zero momentum while he's doing it.
No, he just does the movement for the sake of displaying the fact that he is a NASCAR driver. Kazarian jumped Hammond after the match, but Trill K made the save. Which takes us to the pay-per-view. BG James and Jeff Hammond faced Frankie Kazarian and Michael Shane.
I mean, listen. It's celebrity match on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, Hammond doesn't do much at all.
Except win.
He does win. We'll talk about that in a sec. I kind of appreciate, like celebrity matches have gone too far into the realms of celebrities being good.
Yeah, and they've gone too far into the Logan Paul Rookie of the Year statements.
People are very mad that he didn't win it in the PWI Awards of all things.
I mean, he shouldn't, but sure.
I don't know. I kind of like wrestlers like Tabin who just come in and do a body slam and an elbow drop.
Yeah, I don't know. I like both. I can appreciate it. You know what? Actually, here's what I've worked out the key to celebrity matches, Garrett. Mm-hmm. I like celebrity matches when I know the celebrity.
Probably more importantly, like the celebrity.
Yeah, like that's what it takes. You put Action Bronson out there with Hook, I'm like, yes, match of the year. You do Logan Paul and The Miz at SummerSlam, I'm like, terrible. What are we doing?
Yeah. If it's Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn, also match of the year.
Oh, greatest comedy match of all time.
DDT could never.
The WLC Memorial match.
Hammond was accompanied by Brendan Gaughan with a G. I thought it was Vaughn, and I googled it.
More like Gone with the Wind, because he was out of there.
He literally walked to the top of the tunnel, and before they even showed him, he was gone.
Fucking tremendous pun. Eat shit, everyone in this world.
You're gone out of there and Gone with the Wind. Good puns. Well done.
Gone with the Wind was slept on, and I'm still pissed about it.
They had a perfectly normal celebrity match as mentioned where Hammond is just like doing headlocks and body slams, and then he wins with his pit stop elbow on Kazarian, and Kazarian were pissed that they had to do the job.
Which, yeah, sure.
On the one hand, I get, because like you could just have BG pin them, and BG's a wrestler.
I also think perhaps they would have been less pissed if they did more in the lead up.
Yeah. I'd say, like, your lower card acts, get over it. That would be my ultimate response to them. It's just like...
Sure. But I'm like, if they had a hypothetical segment where they wrestled a mechanical bull and they did some fun stuff like that in the lead up, I think perhaps they would have had less of a problem with just losing the match after they were, like, hanging out for a month.
Yeah. They had, like, 10 minutes on TV cumulatively until they lost. They apparently complained a lot. Management blamed a lot of it on Shane Douglas, who was considered Shane's mentor, as they believe he made a bad situation worse by telling them that it was BS for either of them to get pinned by a 48-year-old race car announcer. It was mad enough that Jarrett considered firing Douglas, and maybe even to Shane and Kazarian. That seems like it would have been an extreme reaction.
But then we could have got Scott Hudson back, so...
That's true, fire him. Get franchise out of here. Hammond is a major player at Fox Sports. He's an announcer for one of their shows, knows the president, and it's basically something to earn brownie points with the network. So the undercard tag team can get over it.
Yeah, there's more value here.
Yeah, and it was mentioned in USA Today. It was mentioned on the Fox Auto Racing shows, and I'll have a segment on the Speed channel. And like Dave notes that it didn't sell a single extra pay-per-view, but ultimately what they wanted was to get the brand name out there, and they probably achieved that. And Frankie, and it's not like Frankie and Shane were doing anything. It's not like they had momentum to squander.
It is kind of funny how like wrestling has changed and evolved, where it's like we've gone from like Jeff Hammond, sports guy, to like top selling Spotify artist Bad Bunny, Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? Like things have developed.
Yeah, like, well, I guess WWE like had Mr. T, who was like and Cyndi Lauper. Those were proper like A-tier stars in the 80s as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the Rock and Wrestling Connection saved that company.
Yeah, and like WCW had Leno, they had Dennis Rodman, who were also top tier celebrities in the 90s. It's just TNA don't have access to top tier celebrities, is what we're learning.
Well, we had Chris Rock.
We had Adam Sandler this month, briefly. There was a video package at one stage on one of these shows from one of the Fox Super Bowl parties where it's like Adam Sandler was there and he was on camera for like 2 whole seconds in a package, so that counts.
Well, I was gonna say the Adam Sandler thing was so sparse that I didn't even notice
he
it.
Zoned out on the Monty Brown package.
I didn't even listen. There's so many fucking packages. Okay, I'm sorry.
Like Terrell Owens was there as well. There's some other sports stars.
I don't know sports guys.
You don't know American sports.
I don't know most sports.
Even though you sent me a message about the Jags last night.
Well, you know, I've been a lifelong Jags fan since I worked out the Tony Khan owned
just
them.
like everybody in AEW.
I do adore that. Like all of their games seem to be they're down by 20 something points and then they just win.
Yeah.
I desperately hope that they win the whole thing because A, it's very funny and I live on funny bits.
Mm-hmm.
But B, because I want to see if WWE sends them the belt.
That is the ultimate outcome here for Paul to send him a WWE title and Tony Khan to be like, look at my WWE title, I'm going to throw it in the trash on Dynamite.
No, not even on Dynamite. They should do it at like whatever presentation they normally do it is. He just drops it and pulls out an AEW title with a big Jags logo in the middle.